and we're just receiving reports that at least 2 US warships have sustained serious damage as a result of direct fire from Russian forces. Details are unclear and the number of casualties remains unknown, but it is reported that at least 1 vessel has been sunk with major loss of life and that contact has been lost with a further 2 ships in the area. The US president has condemned the Russian military action, calling on President Putin to pull back from what he described as a reckless and warlike posture that can only lead to greater conflict. He said that he holds the Russian president solely responsible for the loss of US vessels and the deaths of US military personnel. World leaders have expressed their condemnation of Russian military action, stating their support for US and NATO forces and their hope that a peaceful negotiated settlement to the conflict can be achieved. The Pentagon has convened a meeting of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and a worldwide military alert has been declared for all US forces with immediate effect. We'll be bringing you further information on the US response to the situation as details emerge.
The conflict off the coast of Turkey and Syria continues to escalate, with reports that a number of Royal Navy vessels have joined the battle. It is believed that the HMS Lancaster and HMS Duncan are leading the British response, and that the HMS Northumberland is en route to provide additional support. The Royal Navy Trafalgar-class submarine HMS Torbay is believed to be in the region, but it is not clear whether it is involved in the conflict. The Ministry of Defence has declined to comment, stating that the military response to the situation would be proportionate, but that it would not be appropriate to discuss any details thereafter. Several destroyers in the Russian Black Sea Fleet have been spotted in the Aegean Sea, indicating a potential major escalation in the scale of the conflict and increasing fears that the fighting may get out of hand before a political solution can be negotiated. In response to global condemnation of Russian military action, President Putin has stated that Russia will use whatever means are necessary to defend itself, including the use of its strategic military capabilities. Russian forces are already at a heightened state of combat readiness, following significant military exercises over recent months and the deployment of the S-400 advanced surface-to-air missile system along the Turkish border and in eastern Ukraine.
News of the outbreak of military action between Russia and NATO has been greeted across the globe with expressions of concern and alarm. Reporting restrictions have been imposed due to the sensitivity of divulging troop movements, but we are hoping for an update from our local reporters in the region and from other news networks in due course. In the UK, the mobilisation of the armed forces is continuing, with a full recall of all reserve forces and heightened security at military bases and airfields. Typhoon fighter jets from 29th Squadron at RAF Coningsby in Lincolnshire and 6th Squadron at RAF Lossiemouth in Scotland have begun patrolling UK airspace, and restrictions on civilian and commercial air traffic have been imposed around military and nuclear power facilities. The Ministry of Defence has ordered the dispersal of key military forces and strategic bomber aircraft to various bases across the country, and the British submarine fleet has left the naval bases at Faslane in Scotland and from Portsmouth on the south coast. Traffic restrictions have been reported on certain motorways and access points, causing tailbacks in many areas and bringing traffic to a virtual standstill on parts of the M25. Emergency services and hospitals in the UK have also been placed on high alert. A senior spokesperson for the NHS has stated that it is important that the UK is prepared for any eventuality, but that this should not be a cause of undue alarm or concern.
And just to recap on the main points so far, a serious incident has been reported between Russian and NATO military forces off the coast of Syria, apparently resulting in direct fire from Russian warships against US and British naval forces, resulting in the loss of at least 1 naval vessel and with casualties now exceeding over 200 troops killed and several hundred more either injured or unaccounted for. It is not clear when the first incident took place, but it appears that sometime earlier today, Russian jets were fired upon by the Turkish military after apparently entering their sovereign airspace. It is not known whether any Russian jets were shot down, and the Russian government is so far neither confirmed nor denied that this incident took place. A full-scale military response is underway involving combined US and British forces, although the scale and severity of the conflict remains unclear. We are expecting a statement shortly from the British government following an emergency meeting of the cabinet in a joint session with senior military leaders. It is clear, however, that the situation is extremely serious and is continuing to escalate.
Downing Street has confirmed that all parliamentary sessions have been suspended for today and that heightened security measures have been put in place around major governmental and military facilities. Reporting restrictions have also been imposed on all major news networks, reflecting what the government described as a sensitive and volatile situation which represents a substantial and immediate threat to our national security.